Hey, how's it going, everybody? Phil here, and in this video, we are going to talk about my third and final game in this Res Ops tournament I went to last weekend. This will be the same Sphinx list versus Ramah Task Force, and I'm excited to tell you about this game uh, to afterwards discuss what could have been done differently. So, in the first video of this series, we go into detail on this list, but just quickly, Dard talk for um, Carbonite instead of Bit and Kiss. Caliban is kind of a star. Mentor, not much other choice for points. Caliban star and can heal the Sphinx. Sphinx star of the list. Rassiat supporting cast. Specula supporting cast. And that is pretty much the list. Moving on to my opponent's list. Pretty cool. He's bringing the Maggie. So we have a Rafik Red Fury duoed with the Magariba. Magariba is the Mind Dispenser one, which I think is more cool and more fun. Red Fury is a good duo with it because it's a repeater. He doesn't have any hackers, but it's a repeater. And the Red Fury can cover that 8 to 16 inch band that the Magariba doesn't have much for. We have the Gulam +1 Lieutenant Order, two Zayadins, both the active machine gun and the defensive missile launcher, and a Gulam Doctor, and I think the Nafatun is also in there. Another Nafatun just floating around, a TR bot along with an engineer who can fix it. War Core, Carmen and Batard, so good, so fun. Too bad she's not in any, what you might say, better armies. And then we have two Flash Pulse bots. So this is a really cool list. You've got this Maggie duo, which is hard hitting. You've got this strong defensive and active HMG missile launcher combo that can put in a lot of work. And you also have Carmen Batard, who can really run in there. So let's get into lieutenant role and deployment. So he wins the lieutenant role and instantly snaps up first turn. Um, and we decide we don't want to do the battlefield scenarios. Third game of the day, we're like, mentally exhausted. We don't want to deal with it. My cards are kidnap his HVTs. So you have to evacuate them. Um, Dominate two strips, like the further strip from the middle line and the closer strip of the middle line. And my third one is to kill a good amount of his army. So I, chose this side and told him he can go first. So let's get into his deployment. So in his deployment, he has Carmen and Batard. He has his 5-man core here. I think this is the missile launcher. And then the other stuff is mixed around here. I'm not sure what is what. The floating Nafatoon. The things with orange on them are flash pulse bots. So there's a flash pulse here. I think there's a flash pulse here. Red Fury bot here. TR bot here. Engineer here. I don't know it at the time, but this is his reserve dropped Maggie. Okay, going back to my deployment. We have a Speculo that I plop up here. We have a Preda watching this corner. Down back here, we have an Imatron, our drone Flash Pulse, Gaki, Icadron. Again, that's just a beacon. Dartok Hacker, Mentor with its decoy, Prone Dotterazai, another Icadron, defensive, our drone, defensive. So that's my deployment. My reserve drop is a Liberto. So as I said, his reserve drop is the Maggie here. And my reserve drop here is the Liberto. I put the Liberto here and I put its mine right here because I'm worried about Carmen and Batard getting all up in me. I decide to dock two orders from group 2, which leaves Carmen and Batard with an impetuous, an irregular, and a regular order. Not going to get into mistakes yet. So his first turn, Carmen and Batard come on down here. They get here, Batard runs out, tries to dodge the mine, eats it, and dies to the mine. Of course, this takes all the orders, so Carmen is stuck right here. Then we get into the meat and potatoes of what he's going to be doing his turn, and that is moving the duo. So kind of lucky for me, the first order is to come to here. He then realizes he can't actually, with 6 inches, get to a place where vaulting over here can support the Maggie's whole base. So wasted orders. He has to come back around here. He comes down here. Caliban does nothing. And once the Rafik can get up close enough, he censors and fails. I think then he censors again. He gets it. Maggie comes around to here, catching the Caliban out of cover, puts 2 heavy pistols into the Caliban. Caliban dodges. I'm kind of really hopeful here because if the Caliban dodges into the Maggie, it is big, big trouble for him. But that's not what happens, and the Caliban goes down. Next, Maggie comes over to here, shoots this Icadron. Icadron flash pulses back, fails, goes down. Then Rafik comes to here. Red furies this Preda who tries to dodge. Preda goes down. Then Rafik comes up to here, fights the flash pulse. Flash pulse goes down, and my carbonite fails on the Rafik. I think I get like a 14 or something. Then the Rafik comes here, shoots the Dartok. Dartok goes down. Then Maggie comes over to here. Or no, sorry, Maggie comes to here, maybe, or here, I can't recall. Puts shots into splitting burst between the Dadarazai and the R-drone, and we get smoke down. And that's about the end of the turn. So we have like a Rafik here and Maggie a little further forward here, like there. So I have lost my Caliban, my Icadron, my Preda, my R-drone, and my Dartok. So that's a pretty strong alpha. And while it really hurts, it's not the end of the world. One of the strong things about this list is I have my Sphinx still alive, and I have my Rasyat still alive. And sorry, I didn't show you sooner, or maybe I did. This is where my Sphinx is. So here is the aftermath and a little way into my turn. What I decide to do is reveal the Sphinx here, take a shot at the Rafik who's out of cover. I put him down in one order. Next, the Rasyat comes on to the board right here. Dropping here is no good because the Maggie has a 360 visor. Come here, Maggie fails its dodge. Rasyat comes here, puts Eclipse down here, a little bigger because even after the Maggie's dodges, it's in it. And the Eclipse goes down. Maggie succeeds to dodge but gets here. Then Rasyat moves with stealth. Maggie can't hear me. I then base Maggie, try to slap a D-charge on it, succeed, but he makes 3 saves. Then I CC Maggie again. I think I roll a 2 and he rolls a 7 and he puts the Rasyat unconscious. So I kind of lean back, rake my hands across my face. The game is over. I get very upset, but we got to keep playing. So Rasyat now unconscious, and Maggie is in my DZ in smoke. So the Sphinx can't come up and just flamethrower it, even if he could. Burst 2 flamethrowers, and Maggie has higher armor than the Sphinx. Maggie's going to flamethrower me back. We could both die. I could die and he survives. It doesn't even matter. It's not an option because he's in Eclipse smoke. I could come and I could spec fire or intuitive my flamethrower, but then he's going to flamethrower me back. Burst 1 versus burst 1. He has higher armor. I don't like the idea of that. So what I decide to do is the Sphinx comes around and engages the Maggie from behind. I just have barely enough orders to do it, converting my Liberto's order. And I think in the CC battle, I'm on a 20, he's on a 16. I think I put 1 wound on it. So now group two orders come into play, and the Dadarazai just comes up and uh, berserks Carmen, so that Carmen won't be able to go on a run and paste my order pool even more. But either way, I'm feeling like I'm kind of in a bad spot. At least the Maggie can't, start in the DZ with 10 or 9 orders. I did kill the Rafik, 10, I guess, with the tack aware. So done my best to manage the damage. Okay. So beginning his turn two, what happens is he takes his fire team and they come around this way, moving, moving, moving. He tries to heal Carmen with the doctor and kills her. So a little luck going my way. That's good. He moves closer and I decide to pull the trigger and dodge with the Liberto. He gets to about here with his 3-inch dodge. I think I have a good picture. Up here is the Sphinx engaged with the Maggie. Here we go. So he moves to here, and that's when the Liberto decides to dodge. He dodges to here. So what he does is he breaks his fire team and activates just the Gulam. I can decide to either put a template like this on the missile launcher, or I can put a template like this on either the Gulam or down here there's a Naphaton. I decide to do it this way because the missile launcher is too close to be a real threat to me, but the heavy flamethrower still is. That's my logic. Again, I have to hit that because that's the only activating trooper after breaking the fire team. The Liberto goes down but kills the Gulam. The Naphaton pangs the armor save. Okay. So now going into my turn two. Oh, also, he tries to CC my beacon over here with just a regular CC weapon, but he doesn't realize you need anti-material. So I tell him he can take the order back. He decides not to. He can't take all the orders back of the team planning to go down here. I guess he could have shot at it with the missile launcher from very close. But it kind of ends with his fire team reformed here, missing the Gulam, and that is about all he accomplishes. Here's a picture at the end of his turn two, and let's get back to this picture for the beginning of my turn two. So the beginning of my turn two, the Gaki comes around and gets into here to engage the Maggie. Burst 2 on 20 versus the Maggie's burst 1. We have an inconclusive fight. I think I win the roll. He wins the save. So that's all of my group 2 orders to do that. And then Sphinx CCs Maggie with my burst 2 on 20s maybe twice and puts the Maggie unconscious. Good. Now I want to move my Sphinx forward with the fast movement. My plan is to put down the TR bot and then maybe the turn after grab some HVTs and come back. So what I do, I recamo, I come up over here. If you recall, on the building up here, there's a TR bot. He delays. I move again, I get back down, I move to here. And then once I'm comfortably in cover, I shoot at the TR bot. He's on 2s. He rolls 2 2s, and the Sphinx takes 2 wounds. Unfortunately for me, I've ended my movement here as opposed to out of his line of sight. So I have to fight him again and move back and then hopefully be safe with my Sphinx there. We fight again. He's on 5s now because I'm not surprising him, and he crits me again and puts the Sphinx unconscious. Okay, so the Sphinx is now unconscious, and it's his turn 3. He does something with the doctor like place a. He is in loss of lieutenant because that Gulam that I put unconscious was his lieutenant. So he moves up here, shoots shotgun shots at the Ikatron. The Ikaton dodges and moves to here because looking at my points, I think I have something like 81 points left. Um, and if this Icadron dies, I will be in retreat and not be able to do anything because I have no command tokens. Then the Naphaton comes this way and puts the Icadron unconscious. Icadron tries to dodge, fails, and that is that. On my turn 3, I like try to move the R drone up to here to dominate this closer zone. Um, it's kind of just a hope, but I fail. The doctor puts like a shotgun on me and puts me unconscious. So that is the game. Because I was in retreat, I can't do much else. And my initial thoughts with this game when it first ended, and this is the whole reason I was excited to make this video, was, oh, the Rassiat lost to Maggie and CC and died. That's bullshit. Oh, the Sphinx came to here and got triple crit in 2 orders to the TR bot. I mean, what can I do? Um, Goes unconscious. What can I do? How could I have won? But I think it's important here to talk about what could I have done. So let's think. After getting the Rassiat into base to base with the Maggie, and it made 3 armor saves, whatever. That didn't go as I wanted. Too bad. I still had my group 2 orders, which I did end up using to Berserk Carmen. What I could have done with those orders instead is bring the Gaki around like I did in turn 2, get it into base to base, fight it once with the Gaki, and then I would have had burst 2 with my Rassiat, and very unlikely that I lose this face to face then. Okay. So that's one thing I could have done. Rassiat versus Maggie is pretty good odds. Burst 2 Rassiat versus Maggie is excellent odds. So I could have done that. And that would have probably killed this Maggie, leave Sphinx to have more orders that I don't have to waste now going and basing. I can spend those orders maybe going the other way, shooting at Carmen, and then going back into camo. So that would leave me with the Rassiat still alive. Sphinx doing what Sphinx actually wants to do, maybe ending the turn in camo, um, and ready to absolutely chew up that fire team if things keep going my way and I have the Sphinx at the beginning of my turn too. So that is one I think important lesson of a mistake I made. But let's just say I don't think of that and things still go as they go, and I start turn 2 with my Sphinx toasted. Talking about cards again, I think I got something like 2 points because I had killed a lot of his army. But yeah, he did win the game. I don't recall the exact final score. But okay, back to thinking again. Maggie is dead. We've got the Sphinx. So instead of fighting the TR bot, which accomplished me absolutely nothing, after putting this down, I probably would have had enough orders to go kill a couple members of the fire team, retreat, and go back into camo. And at the very least, I could have dominated one of the zones with the Sphinx and also protected myself rather than just losing the Sphinx to the TR bot. Sure, I wanted to kill the TR bot to go get HVTs, but perhaps I was a little too greedy. And then the final, of course, I'm sure there's many, many ways that I could have played this game better. But one of the final things I could have done is this deployment of the speculo. So I put the speculo here, hoping it would either distract him or I could find good opportunities with it later. But him and my opponent in the last game, I think, made the right play with the speculo in, sort of a threatening spot, but not super threatening, is just ignore it. Like the big thing you're worried about with the speculo is the Maggie, getting monofilamented. But, if the Maggie's in my DZ, this speculo isn't threatening him at all. A thing I could have done with the speculo is maybe put him up here, and have him dominating that middle zone for me with really no way for it to go down. Maybe Batard can like super jump up and try his best to discover. But I think that would have been the better play with the speculo. So I think The reason I actually liked this game so much is my first reaction after the game ended was, "Woe is me! The dice hate me." But upon further reflection, there's a number of things. I only pointed out three. The burst two, not fighting the TR bot with the Sphinx, and different placement of the specular. I'm sure there's many other possibilities of how I could have played it better. But looking back, there's things I could have done much better. So really a good game against a great opponent. He had a strong alpha strike. I think I had paths back that I just fudged a little bit, enough to lose me the game. So again, great game, and glad I was able to share this video with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in N5.